Hi guys, my name is LC
My name is JT.
and welcome to F1 Decoded episode 4. Now in this episode it's the Battle of the Brits, Damon Hill v Nigel Mansell. I'm going to be discussing Damon Hill and JT is going to be discussing Nigel Mansell. Two British one-time Formula 1 world champions in the 90s, and now I'm going to start off with Damon Hill. Now, he came into Formula 1 in 1992 with a small team which was just called Motor Racing Developments. His first entry was the 1992 Spanish Grand Prix, so he had a season with them again, learning, you're getting the ropes like you would as a rookie driver. And in 1993, his second year in Formula 1, he went to Williams. Now he was his first win. It was the 1993 Hungarian Grand Prix with Williams. Was very, very strong and really, setting himself up for a good, promising career. Moving into the 1994 season, where he paired Ayrton Senna at Williams Renault. Now, obviously, as we all know, Ayrton Senna unfortunately passed away at the San Marino Grand Prix, and that really gave more of like the handle of the team to Damon Hill. Now, we all obviously think of Ayrton's passing, and everyone remembers it about what he gave to the sport. Damon's a very special person because he was probably, I'd say, the most affected person by it, obviously, as well as his family, because he gained a lot, and Ayrton gave a lot to Damon Hill. Obviously, taking the fight to Michael Schumacher at Benetton and being the team leader, obviously alongside David Coulthard, who was roped in to fill Senna's seat in '94. So he had a good few strong years with Williams. He contested in 1994 for the title, in '95, and then obviously in 1996, which was a very, very, very strong year. 8 wins in the Williams car in 1996 really put a stop to Michael Schumacher's dominance, and was again another fantastic rivalry to see, Schumacher and Hill. He then moved in 1997 to a team called Danke Arrows, which again was another progression team, but he was hoping to kind of be a massive team leader, obviously like other drivers in the past who have come into teams and really brought them up from the ashes, and obviously coming off this very much high from his championship winning year in 1996. In 1998 and 1999, for his last 2 seasons in Formula 1, he finished with Jordan, the team owned by Eddie Jordan. Again, a very, very strong. His last win in Formula 1 was the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix, and his last entry was the 1999 Japanese Grand Prix, which obviously is the year that Mika Hakkinen won his second with McLaren. So that's the career of Damon Hill. He gained a lot, obviously at Williams, a hell of a lot. Obviously Ayrton, even when he was even up in heaven, he provided a lot to Damon Hill, his friend, his mentor, obviously when he was at Williams. So I'll just give you some of the stats that he had. Obviously his active years was 7 in Formula 1, 92 to 99. He was the son of Graham Hill, which I imagine a lot of people already know. Obviously his dad, a world champion in Formula 1, very, very strong. He passed away when Damon was 15 years old. Now that's obviously very sad. So he had a lot to live up to, and obviously again he felt coming into Formula 1 was something that he had to do, for his dad, for his legacy. His teams were Brabham, Williams, Arrow and Jordan. He had 122 starts. He had 115 starts and 122 entries in Formula 1. His only championship was in 1996. And within that time, within his 7-year period in Formula 1, he achieved 22 wins, 42 podiums, 360 career points. But as myself and JT have said in previous episodes, obviously if he was around modern day, much like other Formula 1 drivers, when the point system was much higher, 25 points for a win compared to something like 8-10 points in those times, so he would have scored a lot more. 20 pole positions, 19 fastest laps. So again, very strong. As I say, his first entry was the 92 Spanish Grand Prix. His first win was the 1993 Hungarian Grand Prix with Williams. His last win with Jordan was in. Actually, funny enough, in the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix was his last win, but it was Jordan's first ever win in Formula 1, so obviously he very much helped the team. His last entry was the 1999 Japanese Grand Prix before he retired, but he was still around in Formula 1. In 2011, he retired after 5 years as the head of the British and World Drivers Association, which was fantastic. He also, so if you are a fan of the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, obviously I know me and JT are, especially going this year. You'll be very happy to know that in 2010, he aided a 17-year contract at Silverstone. So it's on till 2027? So obviously very, very strong by him. And he now is a pundit for Sky Sports F1, one of the best on there, as I'd say, and obviously the only world champion. It's fantastic to see, it's fantastic to get his views. And like other countries that I'm sure will have other world champions and other Formula 1 drivers, it's great to see what their take on modern day Formula 1 when they're watching it, up in the broadcasting studio. So that's Damon Hill's career. Unfortunately, he doesn't hold any records, but obviously his career was fantastic, stands for loads. And now I'm going to pass over to JT, who's going to talk about the British world champion with a moustache, which is what he's known for. JT?
Definitely, yeah. Another man with a devil moustache as well. Obviously, who else could forget Nigel Mansell as well. But obviously, I respect Damon Hill as well. I liked him as a driver. I've actually had the pleasure to actually meet him, shook his hand, and had a picture with him when I went to the Autosport show at the start of this year in January 2016. And obviously, it was a canny man, didn't speak as much, but obviously I do respect him as a driver as well as his dad. So yeah, Nigel Mansell, obviously regarded as one of the best F1 drivers of all time, according to Murray Walker on his little list of their best F1 drivers. And in terms of a British F1 driver, he's probably regarded as the best British driver we'll probably ever see. In my opinion, that's wrong. I think Jim Clark is the best British driver of all time, but that's for another episode.
Yeah.
So we're going to go straight into his entries. He had 91. Sorry, no, he didn't have 91. He had 191 entries and 187 starts. He had 31 wins, which was a British record up until obviously Lewis Hamilton came into the scene. 59 podiums, 480 points, which is actually kind of impressive, bearing in mind that you think of how little points he got back in the day.
Yeah.
32 pole positions, which was again a British record up until we had Mr. Lewis Hamilton come into the scene.
Yeah.
30 fastest laps. His first entry in Formula 1 was at the 1980 Austrian Grand Prix with Lotus, and at the time you had legendary Colin Chapman at the scene, who was very, very impressed by. He was a test driver at the time, so he was quite impressed. He also set the fastest lap when they were doing practice laps in the Lotus. He set the fastest lap there, very, very impressed, which convinced Colin Chapman to give him a race seat. Then he had a good few spells at Lotus. Obviously, didn't really succeed as much as would have hoped to. Then he comes into 1985, where he moves to Williams, and this is where he gets his first win at the 1985 obviously European Grand Prix. And this is where I think Nigel Mansell pretty much made his legacy in Formula 1. Obviously, not the first time round. It was there up until I think it was about 1989, I believe, when he moved to the red team, Ferrari. And he was also the last man to win on his Ferrari debut, which was obviously beaten to Kimi Räikkönen in 2007, where he won it on his Ferrari debut in Australia. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Nigel Mansell won it on his first his first Ferrari debut. So and his last win currently was at 1994 Australian Grand Prix, which obviously an absolutely mega unbelievable weird season back in the day. Obviously, jumping back to that, he won his one and only World Championship in 1992 with Williams when he rejoined in 1991, I believe, after 2 years at Ferrari. He didn't really succeed as much. And his last entry was in the 1995 Spanish Grand Prix, so he had a pretty much a good 15-year legacy in Formula 1, and obviously, as Murray Walker said, one of the best F1 drivers of all time. He's also regarded as one of the top wins of Formula 1, only beaten by the likes of Schumacher, Prost, Hamilton, Vettel, Senna, and Fernando Alonso. So you can definitely tell how talented he was. He's obviously a big thing around the paddock. You see him here, there, and everywhere. Just interviews for Sky F1, for BBC. So he's never really been away from Formula 1. He's always been at the scene. Obviously, he's always there at the British Grand Prix. Always making some sort of appearance. Loads of online websites and Times and newspapers and stuff have always made him as long as one of the best British F1 drivers of all time, one of the best drivers of all time. So it's definitely a very, 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 very good legacy he had in Formula 1. And I would definitely say that he is obviously one of the best drivers ever. Not only that, during his sort of brief spell out of Formula 1 when he sort of left at the end of it, he went into IndyCar, which was whatever that is, as we always say, 31 starts there, and he won He won it in 1993. He won the championship in 1993. But we don't know what IndyCar is, so we're not going to go much into about that. But yeah, that's a little bit about Nigel Mansell. Obviously, he doesn't have very many records, but obviously he would have had, before Lewis Hamilton came on the scene, he would have had a lot of British records, like British starts, British wins, and stuff like that. And obviously, I would respect him as a driver. It's something that we don't really talk about as much, but you know, I would consider him as, I would probably say, one of the best British drivers of all time, but definitely not the best British driver.
Yeah.
Definitely not of all time, but
yeah, I know. Obviously, you think that Jim Clark is one of the best, which he is. He's fantastic. We'll obviously go into that in another episode, Decoded Way Again, where we discuss him versus his dad, Graham Hill. And on the topic of Graham, obviously in terms of a record that isn't really noted down in the Formula One books. Obviously, his legacy that his dad left, and for Damon to fill is amazing. Obviously, unfortunately, his dad passed away when he was 15 years old, so still a child. Obviously, rising through the ranks of to become a Formula One driver or a motor racing driver, and then to fill that and to become world champion is unbelievable, really. And I mean, we see a lot of them nowadays. Obviously, father-son parents. You have like Jos and Max. Well, they're the biggest one at the moment. Especially, obviously, now Max is going to has gone to Red Bull. Obviously, very special for him to fill that. We have like say Carlos Sainz. We have a lot. Obviously, Kevin and Jan Magnussen, and obviously the biggest at the moment is Nico and Keke Rosberg, isn't it, JT? Or so should I say Keke and Nico? Obviously, Nico chasing 8. So that's really set the benchmark for that. Obviously, Damon's one of the fantastic drivers. Again, a bit like Nigel Mansell, just a fantastic, remembered, brilliant British driver. Obviously, Great Britain having a massive legacy in Formula One. We've had loads and loads of world champions. Obviously, the first was Mike Hawthorne in, was it 56? And then obviously just setting them all. And then obviously at the moment, like our current reigning champion is Lewis Hamilton. Maybe not for long, but we'll go into that obviously in another video. So that's obviously those two drivers. Has Nigel Mansell got any records, JT?
No, he hasn't got really any records. But obviously, back in the day, he would have held quite a few records, especially British records. He might hold some British records. I haven't found any. But obviously, you've got like I said before, Lewis Hamilton, Jesse Button, who's came in on the scene, and they've probably already wiped all his records. But I'm going to go through a little bit of Nigel Mansell's personal life a little bit. He's a keen golfer, which probably a lot of you already know. He has a desire to compete at the British Open Golf Championship, which is like one of the major tournaments, I believe, along with like the Ryder Cup and the Masters and stuff and all like that. I don't follow golf, but I believe that's one of the main golf things that they do. And he briefly participated in the 1988 Australian Open, which whatever that is. And he's also, here's one for you, Elsie, because I know you're into cycling. Mansell is the owner of Team UK.
He is, JT. I was going to mention that. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I've spotted that. I was like, oh, Elsie's very interested into.
And I remember seeing him. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him, but in one of the races in Newcastle in the northeast of England, there was a race going on, a very high up national race. Obviously, he was there with UK youth, and I remember I saw him. I was in one of the support races beforehand. It was a few years ago now. I remember seeing him, but obviously, unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him. But I was, once I heard that we were on the way to Newcastle, and I remember hearing that he was going to be there, and I was thinking, that would be mint to meet him, because obviously, unlike JT, who's met Damon, a world champion, I haven't ever met a Formula One driver, and obviously, I'd like to change that. So yeah, thank you.
It was a good moment. It was a great moment meeting Damon Hill, because I got it as a Christmas present to go to the Autosport show at the NEC arena in Birmingham, and it was a great opportunity. And I got like a VIP pass, and which allowed when you first walked in, you had like a little area where you could just sit and have coffee and stuff like that, and just the rest only VIP only. And every so often there would be like a person there signing, like obviously Alan McNish was there. I think a couple of people from Williams, because they had a partnership with them. And obviously, I think it was 20 years since David Hill won his championship. So obviously he was there as part of Williams. So obviously I met him. I seen Massa. I never really met him. I very nearly got his autograph.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, he turned away last minute because he had to go and do the other side of it.
He just didn't like you, JT.
He looked at me and went, yeah. Do you know, he went, oh God, that's JT.
He looked at JT and he went, "Oh, that's. I thought that was where's LC? Oh, I'm going."
But I know it was a bit more meeting Damon. Like I said, I didn't really manage to talk to him as much because I still had quite a lot to do. But,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, I would have asked him, like, "Oh, how you doing?"
No, you would have. No, to JT, you would have asked him, "Have you subscribed to the F1 Debate Show?"
But at the time, we didn't start it.
Oh yeah.
That was a shame. Obviously, we started this. I think we had the idea in February.
Yep.
And obviously, I went in January, so obviously at the time, the F1 Debate Show wasn't even thought of. But Nigel Mansell does hold some awards. He holds the BBC Sports Personality of the Year, which is something that we hold, and we British people respect those in sport who did well,
Yep.
like football, cycling, rugby, tennis, stuff like that. And he's won it twice. He won it in 1986 and he won it in 1992,
Yep.
which was obviously very impressive to win. And obviously you've got like Lewis Hamilton won it and stuff like that, but when he won it and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That was the Battle of the Britons. That is it for F1 Decoded episode 4. It's been a short video because they don't have as many records as obviously people that we've done before, like Sebastian Vettel and Michael Schumacher. But obviously, and by the way, if you haven't watched those, please watch those now. We've got episode 1, 2, and 3. The first one was Hamilton and Senna. The second one was the Battle of the Germans. Third one was the Battle of the Finns. As I say, this episode is the Battle of the Britons. Next week, episode 5 is the Battle of the Brazilians. JT, we're going global, aren't we?
Oh, we are travelling around the world, obviously, two very talented drivers in Nelson Piquet and Emerson Fittipaldi.
Yes, of course.
Stay tuned for that. That is going to be really good.
Should be good. And also, stay tuned. Just keep staying tuned for the F1 Decoded lineup, which will be great. Following those, we have Hunt Lauder. We have obviously Jim Clark and Graham Hill, which obviously I know JT he could cry about Jim Clark, which is amazing. All the way down episode 10, which is Juan Manuel Fangio v Alberto Ascari. So we've picked people from different eras, and it should be a fantastic series. We hope you really enjoy that. So and also please watch the Spanish Grand Prix preview if you haven't already. That came out yesterday, and also F1 Debate Show episode 11 on Wednesday, where we talk about Max Verstappen and Daniel Kvyat.
That is a long episode.
They're swapping ideas. It's an hour long. It's an hour, so make some time. It's wow. And then obviously catch us on Sunday for our review of the Spanish Grand Prix, the first race in Europe, which will be amazing to watch. We can't wait. So thank you very much for watching this episode, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye.
See you later, guys. Take care.
Bye.